Okay. Uh, I'm gonna read one of my own poems this time. Um, Not memorized though. I got a paper. I got a paper here. The most recent issue of River Heron Review just came out, and I have a Sestina in there, called "Not Her Husband All Safe in His Grave." It's part of a novel in verse about, um, based on stories from my granny. Um, And this poem is part of that. And I wanted to read that for you all. River Heron Review is amazing. I love this issue. I found out about the journal originally when Gwen Hart had some work in there. And so went to read her poem and then ended up reading a bunch of other poems in that issue and saying, I gotta submit there. And Robin and the folks at River Heron Review have just taken really good care of my poem, and it's been a delight. So I will put a link down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can look down in the description and there'll be a link to the issue so you can check out everybody else's work that's in there, as well as all the archived issues and everything. All right. On to the poem. Content warning, it does involve not active death, but the aftermath of someone's death. So if that's something that that you are sensitive to, plan your time accordingly. Press pause. Come back when you feel ready for that. Called "Not Her Husband All Safe in His Grave," 1958. She wanted a place where stitches all stayed stitched, and the milk jug was always full in the fridge, where the older girls didn't stop at the corner store on their way home from school to buy candy bars, telling the clerk to just put them on credit, where no one snuck out to the hop or drove halfway to the moon. She wanted the girls, who she thought hung the moon, to think less about keeping their brother in stitches or watching Roy Rogers clear through to the credits, and more about the spilled milk in the fridge, the wildly swinging front gate they'd forgotten to bar, the list of small things they'd promised to get at the store. What would their futures have in store, with their pale city calves bright and white like the moon, and their skin soft and clean from Dove soap bars? Sudsed up on washcloths with pulled stitches, night cream kept fresh on a shelf in the fridge. Depending on how they turned out, she'd take the credit, but not the pointy hot poker of blame, only the credit, which she'd keep in her heart like a dragon store, all glistening gold. Of course she'd clean up the fridge. To leave it would be like tide fighting moon, because Mother Nature hadn't so much stitched them together as boiled them hot and made metal bars. And what can you buy with the gold bars of housework and keeping, done without credit? Of pink party dresses and majorette uniforms stitched on her singer, because to buy from the store was as unthinkable as reaching the skin of the moon, as elusive as a fully stocked fridge. Who else would clean the spill in the fridge? Not the boy in his shirt with the red and white bars, not the baby in her romper covered with stars and with moons, not the teenagers with their jejune views on credit, not the clerk down at Uncle Raymond's store. Only her between the ironing and hems that needed stitched. At night, the hum of the fridge sings a song to her credit. Its electric 8-bar melody shakes, but cannot take the store of bright moon dust held to her soul, good and stitched. So, Sestina, you've got the repeating, you have your first stanza, and then the end words repeat throughout in a specific pattern as you go through the poem, which you probably heard. If you weren't familiar with Sestinas, you probably still picked up on what the form probably was just by listening. So cool. Thanks for stopping by.